Hey everyone. So today I have a special guest. His name is Nick. He's a sophomore computer science major at Tufts University.
Yes, Tufts University.
Tufts University, yeah. He's really passionate and motivated about programming and iOS. So I thought, and he had like a lot of really good questions. So today I guess he'll be interviewing me and asking those questions so that we can share his questions and my answers to my viewers. So, okay.
Awesome, yeah. So I'm Nick. Great to be on the channel. Thank you for having me. I guess I'll start off I've been doing my own personal projects on the side, and I'm wondering what are some other good skills to acquire on the side besides iOS development?
Uh, Good skills to acquire to like get what though?
Oh yeah, related to industry and software engineering, getting internships.
Internships. Um, I think like communication is everyone thinks like software engineers are like nerdy and stuff like that and like really antisocial, but actually in industry communication is actually really, really important. To be able to um, understand a problem and then come up with a solution, but then also to convey that solution to other people because typically you're not going to only be working by yourself. You'll be working with a team. So yeah, like meetings are a huge part of your day and stand-ups and making sure everyone is on the same page. And in order to have everyone on the same page, you have to have really good communication. Um, but yeah, but
Mm.
that being said, like technical skills are still like really important. If you don't have those, then you have nothing good to communicate.
I was gonna refrain from asking what's the hottest programming language to learn these days, but in your opinion, we're top three. Maybe not top three. What's your top language for like a new programmer to learn if they want to be competitive, getting internships or
I think the language actually doesn't really matter. Um, I started with I started with Python and quickly moved to Java, then C++, then back to Java, and then like Swift. So I think that it's more like what you want to do. Like if you want to do iOS, then you can only do Objective-C and Swift. And in that case, like if you're just starting out, you should just do Swift. For Android, like let's say you do Android, I think like there's Java and then now there's like Kotlin. I heard Kotlin's like really good. I stopped Android before Kotlin though, so I don't know. But yeah, I think the language doesn't really matter. And I think like across all languages have for loops, or almost all of them. Like all of them have while loops, all of them have variables. So it's more important to get the right fundamentals down, and then like everything after that can be learned, like the language specific stuff. Um,
mm,
that being said, though, I think C++ is really good to like it's like kind of low level because it has like pointers and references and functions, stuff like that. So it has like all the qualities of like a programming language and programming in general. So I personally think C++ is really good because like you're working with pointers and stuff like that. But let's say you're going to school and your introductory course is like in Python or Java, then you'll never touch C++. So, yeah, I don't think the language matters too much because you can always pick it up. It's more like what
mm.
you do with the language.
Okay. This is a little bit more specific, but regarding C++. So my background in school, the two classes I took last year, Intro to CS and Data Structures, were taught in C++, and now I'm in another class and they're teaching it in C. Do you know of like any good projects that you can produce by yourself, using like a lower level language? Like what are like some examples that might be good to put on a resume with those languages?
You mean like with C++?
Yeah.
Yeah, so actually my first project was in C++. It was like a vegetable inventory app, cause like my friend, he wanted, his family owns like a wholesale vegetable company slash farm, and then, they were doing everything by hand. So they asked me like, oh, can you like automate this um, with technology, with like a program? So I was like, okay, I could try. But at the time, I only knew C++. But there's like, um, or a framework called Qt. It's pronounced cute, but it's spelled Qt. And that's basically like a GUI, graphical user interface, that you can use with C++. So yeah, like with that, you can make any kind of app on like desktop, and it's like cross-platform. So you write your code once, and then it will work for both Windows and Mac.
Oh,
So
wow. I had never heard of Qt. That's pretty cool.
yeah,
Um,
so you can yeah, like C++ to write the backend, and then also C++ to write the like front end.
all right. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Aside from like side projects and just acquiring skills by yourself, like how did you like I know you have videos about time management, like during the school year, planning for interviews and internships. Like how did you manage, I guess? Because like I feel like interviewing and applying is like a whole nother class and like can you talk about that for a little bit?
Like, how did I manage my time?
Yeah.
Um, do you hang out with your friends a lot?
I mean, unless I put it in my calendar, like I'm kind of a stickler about like putting everything in a Google Calendar and sticking to it.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah. Um, so I don't know. It's been like 2 years. So for me, I guess like after I got my like big internships like Yelp and Hulu, stopped really. Wait, no, I still did. I guess okay. You start with your like the things you have to do, like all your classes. So you first start with your classes and put that on your calendar. Then you see like the time you have left. Then you sort of list out, or I listed out what I wanted to do. So, first of all, there's homework. Then there's like practicing singing or like playing badminton. And then, doing interview prep, working on my side project. Um, yeah. But then like, and then I would like schedule it super tight. So then like, I also put when I woke up and when I went to sleep. And then I also like wanted to do push-ups in the morning and stuff like that. So I just like every Sunday I schedule out my ideal week, and then like I fill in all the spaces, and then as time went on and as homework got harder, and as I started to like know what to expect from every class and like how hard every homework was or how hard every test was, then you can sort of like um, schedule time better. And also I started to feel which things were important and which ones I was okay dropping. So
Hmm.
then, like, I think I dropped badminton like super quick. Like, through 2, 3 weeks in, I just stopped playing badminton. And then, I also like a few weeks in stopped singing too and just allocated more time to prepare for interviews and yeah.
All right.
I
Yeah.
went on a tangent, but what I'm trying to say is like, I'm not the best at managing my time. Um, but then I guess I'm good at having like a singular focus. And I would start out thinking that, oh, I could balance my time and have like 5 different focuses, but in the end, I'll only have like 2, which is like pass my classes and get the interviews. But then with one focus, I'm able to like break it up and say, okay, if I want to get an internship, what do I have to do? Which is like, I don't know, like do one lead code problem a day. Um, actually, no, it's working on my resume and to get my resume better. And by doing to do that is like work on side projects. But after having a good resume, then it's like prepare for the interview. And then for that, then it's just like get good at tree problems, get good at array problems, get good at yeah, like just all those problems. And then
Okay.
after that, or like dynamic programming problems. And then after that, looking at the current date and then looking at the interview date and seeing how much time I have and then dividing up that time into like enough, like dividing it up and planning it so that looking at my plan, I could say, oh, if I were to do this, then I'd be in a pretty good position to pass the interview. And then if I say, oh, this plan isn't good, that would mean I either have to have a better plan or I have to have like give it even more time. Yeah.
Okay. I see what you're saying. I liked the whole thing where every Sunday night you plan out like your ideal week. I kind of do something similar, but I find that like as I'm going about my day, I guess it's like a qualitative feeling. Like I feel like, oh, this is more important, and some of the days just kind of slip. But then again, I feel like I'm being productive because like I'll have a bunch of things listed in my calendar, really tightly packed. But then, like you said, you had maybe if you had 5 focuses, you'd slip down to like 2, and like what's actually important, and things like tend to work out. I guess just it kind of gets done.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, like as you realize that you keep slipping on things, then you should ask yourself like, oh, how important is this thing? Like, do I actually want to do it? And then also, I guess after I plan out my week and I go through my week, as I'm like going through the day, if I like spend too long on something or I just waste an hour like browsing the web, then I'll actually like move the stuff. Like I'll keep my calendar updated. And then
Oh,
by
okay.
moving the stuff, I'm like pushing it back, pushing it back, pushing it back. And then if I push something back like too much, then I'll have this feeling like, oh, dang, I pushed this thing back like so much, I should do it. Or like, oh, I can't push it back anymore because like it's due tomorrow, you know?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Just kind of like you're up against that wall, and yeah.
Yeah, but then like with the calendar, at least, everything is there. So like everything you have to work with is there, and then you also know like when the deadlines are. So you know like okay, I'll push this back, but then I can't push it back past like Thursday. Or you look at like it's 2 p.m. and you completely didn't do the thing you're supposed to do at 1 p.m. And then when you're trying to move that thing from 1 p.m., you're like, oh, I have to do it later today because like it's due tomorrow. And then like because you moved it down today, then you move more things down, then you like rearrange. Um, that worked for me, but might not work for you.
Okay. I kind of do a similar thing. I have like a to-do app and I'll schedule everything for today, but then I'll like put the due date right next to the task. And then before every night, I'll just like shove everything to the next day. And it kind of like gives you that feeling like, ooh, I didn't even think about this today or like, I didn't even work on this at all. And it just kind of gives me a lingering sense of like, oh, you better get on this soon and, or else you're just going to keep pushing it back and back and it'll never get done. The thing about that though, like, you can't, I think it's helpful on a calendar because you can actually like see the day. Like on Google Calendar, it's like all laid out in a week. Like in a to-do app, it's like, it's a little harder because it's just like a single day and you're looking right there. But, yeah, I get what you're saying about pushing things back and how it kind of gives you that feeling of, oh shoot, I gotta get it done or it's not gonna get done.
Uh, um, but I think like the to-do app, that's like another way of managing your time or managing tasks. There's like an actual method on it. I don't know the name. I forgot the name, but it's just like you have your like daily, like today's tasks, then you have like longer term tasks. And I forgot the motivation behind it, but it was something like, um, you just have like your things for today, so you just have to focus on them. And it's not the focus isn't on like how much time every task takes or how much time you have. The focus is just like, oh, you just have to get them done.
Yeah. I've heard that on like a couple like podcasts. They talk about like just plan out your day on a piece of paper. Have you heard of the MFCEO podcast?
So,
No, honestly, it's pretty good. This guy's like a self-made billionaire, and he talks about the power list, and he writes down like 5 things he needs to get done every day, and if he gets them done by like 9 a.m., then he's like done for the day and he's good to go. He just needs to like realistically, you probably won't if they're meaningful tasks, but yeah, the whole idea is like if you do what you need to do each day, you'll keep moving.
mhm. I actually have something like that now. It's like, I sort of like put a checklist on my wall and then it's like, 3 habits I want to get down and then like four, four productivity things. Like wake up every morning or like brush my teeth or have 5 productive weeks or, practice singing 25 hours. And then like as I do it, I like tally.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Where do you put that? Like right
I
next to your
just keep it on
bed or? Oh, okay.
keep it on my wall.
So you can see it every morning or something like that.
Um, yeah. I mean, I see it every time I use the computer, which is basically,
Oh,
which is every day. Yeah.
I just assumed you were in your bedroom, but
Oh, I mean, my computer
yeah.
is in my bedroom.
Oh, sorry. Um, but yeah, that was like a big tangent about like productivity stuff, and
I'm planning.
I know. Oh yeah, the original question was like managing time. We can move on. uh,
If you want to dig deeper, or
oh, we can dig deeper. All right.
it's up to you.
So okay, maybe if we come back to it, yeah. I do want to talk about like why, because I know from some of your other videos you didn't intern at, you didn't like stick with a company for consecutive years after you interned, and I'm just like wondering why. Because I feel like if I got a big internship, I would just try to get like a return offer for the next summer, and then just like keep going.
Yeah. So, for me, um, my junior year, I interviewed with like Yelp, Hulu, Google, Facebook, Microsoft. And yeah, and then I got rejected from Google, Facebook, and then I got Hulu. So then at the time that was my only offer, so I took it, and that's for the summer. And then after that I interviewed with Yelp, and then I got it, and I was like, shit, I want both. So then I did Yelp in the winter. Um,
Okay.
so that was why, like, even before I started any big internship, I already had two to do. Um, and then after Yelp, I sort of was like, oh, like, there's nothing, like, this company's so great, like, there's nothing to complain about. But I want, like, more data. I want to be able to compare Yelp with, like, Google and, like, make a better decision because of that. And because I have, like, 2 more years in school, so I felt like I had the time to explore. Then at Hulu, I interviewed with Google, and I got Google. So then I was like, okay, well, I got Google, so of course I'll go, right? And it's like for that big internship or big company experience. Um, then at Google, I started interviewing again. Um, yeah, and then I guess it's just like instead of sticking with one company, I want to see like different companies, but like not just different in name, but like also different in other characteristics. Like Yelp was my first big internship. Um, Hulu, I guess was the same, like just like a mid-sized company. So Yelp and Hulu were both mid-sized. Google was the first like large company. Then Tinder was a company that actually used their product. And then Microsoft was like a company in Seattle. So yeah, it was just like, and it was also like more of like the fun internships. So
Okay.
just every internship, I try to have one more data point and like yeah, like have that experience help me make a more informed decision on my full time job.
All right. That makes sense. So did you intentionally go into each or not interview, into each internship with like a goal of like what you wanted to get out of it, or were you just trying to like gather as many data points like you said?
Yeah, like um, I guess like before every internship, I ask myself like, oh, what do I want to do here, and what do I want to learn? Um, yeah.
Okay. All
So
right.
yeah, like I have a journal that I wrote in every day. So I always had a journal that I'd write in every day of the internship. Like I'd reflect on the day and stuff like that. But then like after a month and a half, like after like the halfway point, every day sort of like was the same and it didn't really need to reflect anymore. That was a pattern I noticed.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know you interned like in the winter. That's pretty cool.
Hmm.
Like could you talk about like the value in that, because I've been considering that myself, and I just want to hear like your perspective, and like do you think
Yeah.
that like helped you kind of maybe accelerate your development, because you had Yelp and then Hulu right after that, and like 8 months, 6, 8 months of consecutive work is like it's
Um,
different from like being in school.
so UCSD is like a quarter system. So one
Oh,
quarter is only like 10 weeks. So we don't have to take as much time off.
oh, okay.
And our internships are also like shorter. It's like only 12 weeks.
Oh, all right. I
Yeah.
see. All right, then never mind, I guess.
Yeah. No, no, but
That's still cool.
there's like a lot of value in it. First of all, it's another name. Like, it's something to put on your resume for sure. Like, work
Hmm.
experience wise. Second of all, if you're doing like an off-season internship, like there aren't as many interns, so first of all, you'll get a clear idea of what it's like to work at that company.
Mm-hmm.
Because like all the full times are like, oh yeah, all the interns are gone. Like we can actually do work now. Uh, yeah, and then what's the other way? And then yeah, there's just like fewer interns, so like you can bond with them more. Uh, yeah, I really enjoyed my off-season internships. They're really cool.
That's cool. Yeah, dang. Um, all right. That's interesting. Yeah, I didn't know you enter in the winter, so it's pretty cool.
I mean, it doesn't just have to be winter. I I basically interned like all 4 seasons of the year. I did Yelp during the winter, Google during the fall, and then Tinder during the spring. And then I also did like summer internships too.
Oh wow,
So
that's
yeah.
a lot of interning. You really get around.
Yeah, pretty much. Your school semester system, right?
Yeah, we're semester systems, so you know, we have summers off and then we come back in the fall. We have like 3 weeks off and then we go back for spring semester and then we get out like early May,
Uh,
like one week into May probably. So yeah, we have a good chunk of time off.
so do you think for semester schools, is it easy to just take like one whole semester off?
Um, I would say I think it varies school by school, depending on if it's a state school or a private school, I'd assume. I know at Tufts, like you can take a semester off, but you just have to extend your stay. And
Yeah.
if it's a private school, like the tuition could be really high and money might be a problem. But I
But
think
if you take
most,
the semester off, do you still have to pay tuition?
um, I think you might. I'm not sure.
That would be crazy.
Yeah, that would be very crazy because I
So
don't know
because
if you.
another really big advantage of internships is like instead of paying to learn, you're getting paid to learn, and you're getting paid to like work on cool stuff. And then I think the advantage of like, because if you take a semester off, most likely you'll like also graduate maybe like a semester late or something. But then because of that, you have another summer to do an internship, and then you have like basically one more year to like prepare for interviews before like for your full time interview,
Oh wow. Oh yeah, that's
right?
so cool. Okay, yeah.
Otherwise, you'll be finding a full time job fall of your fourth year instead of fall of your fifth year.
Right. Okay. I see what you're saying. So that's just another incentive to try to maybe intern in the winter or spring or something like that.
Yeah, because another thing is like internship interviews are um are easier than full time interviews and oftentimes shorter. So it's also like if it's easier to get the internship and then you do a good job in your internship, you get the return offer. Therefore, it's also like easier to get the full time offer through an internship than straight up
Okay.
interviewing for that full time position.
All right. So do you think that's like something to consider, like which company you intern for, like say before you graduate? Like possibly like this is someone who I would want to work for, or do you do you think it's a lot harder to get in the other way, just applying straight up?
Um, Wait, what do you mean? Like, is it harder to get a full time job at like Google if you apply straight up versus interning?
Yeah, like how much harder?
How
Like,
much harder? I mean, given that you already interned, it's like way easier
oh,
job if you already interned. Like your foot is already in the door. You're already in the door.
Okay. Yeah. I see what you're saying. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Um, okay. Yeah. Aside from like internships and yeah, let's talk about like maybe career fairs or like getting the interview and like resume stuff. So yeah, there's like a career fair at Tufts coming up in like 2 weeks, and
Oh,
I was wondering if you had any advice on like preparing, like what to know about a company, when you like talk to people from there, and like how to make a good impression, that sort of thing.
yeah. I think my biggest success, and especially at the very beginning, was to go to like the tech talks. So during that career fair season, are there tech talks also?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So basically they have like a lot of free food, and then they have like an engineer that like gives a presentation, and then afterwards, then you have time to like talk to the engineers.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my advice would be try to show up early, and then if they're free, like if the engineers or the recruiters are free, then go talk to them. And then after the talk, like just stick around. People will start dwindling. Like some just came for the food, some no one really shows up just for the talk, right? Like everyone wants to like pass their resume and like talk to the engineer. Um I wanted I think what I did was I just stepped to the very end until they left. And then yeah, just like really try to connect with the engineer and not just tell them like about not just tell them like about you and what you can do, but show them your side project.
Okay.
So I mentioned that a lot because that was really what made me stand out. It's just like doing a live demo of your side project, because anyone could write great things about like their side project on the resume, but then like actually being able to see and like interact with your side project is like a completely different experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Is that why, or maybe iOS development or some sort of app development could be like a better way to go if you're looking to start a side project, just because like, you know, like
User facing.
device, yeah, right. It's just right there.
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay. Um,
But it's like if you really want to do just backend and you talk to a backend engineer, I'm pretty sure they can both like geek out about it too. You know.
all
But
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
like for me, my first side project, as I said, was like C++, right? So it was like I would bring like my big ass computer to like to demo my stuff.
Okay.
So yeah,
That's pretty cool though. They'll remember you too.
yeah, pretty much.
Um, I guess along the same lines, with the career fair stuff, um, can I get your opinion on like how important cover letters are for companies? Like I know when I've applied online to places, there's a spot to drop your cover letter, but I've heard different things.
Yeah, so uh, I think this is something you can Google, get some other opinions on it. But personally, I feel like cover letters are pretty useless, and even in Google's like application process, they say cover letter like optional. We care more about like what you can do or stuff like that. Um, the only cover letter I ever wrote, I think, was for Apple, and I'm not working at Apple. Never got it, or I did get an interview, but like, yeah, never got an internship or an offer or anything. So don't think cover letters are that important, just because uh, a like a recruiter slash screener will probably look at your resume 5 to 10 seconds because they have like stacks and stacks and stacks. So they literally just scan your resume, like see the important points, and then give you like a score, and then put you in a pile. It's like pretty impersonal, but with that many resumes, like that's just like how it is. Or else they'll spend like months and months just reading resumes. So like if they're already doing that with resumes, then like cover letters are probably like even like they're probably not even looked at. And yeah.
All right. Yeah, that makes sense. Do you think like it could like weigh in if you're like on the edge after an interview, like, oh, should we take them? Should we not?
Um I think so the first thing that gets you through the door is your resume and your skills, right? So like it doesn't matter how well written your cover letter is if you don't have like if they don't think you're technically qualified.
Okay.
But after you get through the recruiter screen and they want to interview you, oftentimes the recruiter will call you first and get to know you and like set things up. And that initial call is pretty much the cover letter. Like they'll probably ask you, like, "Oh, why do you want to work at Airbnb or Lyft or Google?" And then you give them your canned response, and then yeah. So
Okay.
now that I think about it, your first recruiter screen is basically the cover letter.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So bottom line, not that important when you apply.
Not important at all in my opinion.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. One more, I have a general question for you, just about college in general. Like, if you could go back, like, would you do anything differently? It's kind of an open-ended question, but
Yeah.
like, is there anything, um, maybe on your path to getting these big internships or getting to where you are in life that you would have done differently if you had known you were going to get the big internships or something along those lines?
Yeah. I think what I would have done is like, because now I went through the process, I would know like what works and what doesn't. So when I prepare for interviews, I probably just grind the code harder, and I would not because when I first started, I was like, oh, I'll get good at competitive programming, or I'll do all these problems on this like random um code like online judge coding thing, or oh, I'll read this book like the algorithm design or algorithm handbook or something. So I would waste like, I probably like wasted like a good month on that stuff. Only to realize like the problems that they gave me weren't that great or like weren't, applicable towards the interview process. And then, even like HackerRank, I spent a lot of time like, getting like memorizing how to get an input and then like read an input from an input file and then put that in a data structures. Whereas like during an interview, you never have to read from a file. All you have to do is just like fill in a function. Like they already said, okay, here's a function, and then here's like the parameter one, parameter two, and this is what the function has to do. They're not like, oh, okay, given a file where every line, the first number is like the number of lines. Second one is like how many. It's just like stuff you won't have to do during the
Yeah.
interview. Uh,
Okay.
so that's like one thing I would do. for preparation, just like focus more on lead code. Second of all, do more mock interviews with my friends. I did a lot of it alone, so it was like, felt really grindy. But then, I think that like, of the times I actually did mock interviews, it was like more fun and more collaborative and more like back and forth. And I guess it also keeps people engaged keeps people engaged and also keeps people accountable as long as like both people are willing to do it. Because if like both people are lazy, then it won't really work out. Not much else. I feel like in college I really wanted to plan things out. So then I planned things out to the extent of my ability at the time. So I can honestly say like I did the best I could to have like the best future I could have gotten, and I couldn't have done anything more. And actually, my goal is to just be able to say that in the future. Like I tried my best, and I can't do anything more, no matter what the outcome is.
Yeah, I feel you there. Yeah, no regrets. I feel you.
Yeah,
Um,
but it's kind
I
of
guess
hard. It's kind of hard, like when you're working for something, to say like I won't regret anything if I don't get it.
it is hard because you're so focused on that end goal,
Yeah.
and you just feel like it's all riding on that decision. But
Hmm.
yeah, kind of goes along. Like I feel a lot of pressure to get like a stamp of approval from a big company.
Yeah.
Uh, that set, I don't know, like kind of like a badge of honor, like you're a certified
For a Googler.
software engineer. Sorry, I think our connection is breaking up. What'd you say?
Yeah. You're back.
Oh, okay. I was saying, like Google says I'm a software engineering intern, so I must be that kind of thing. Yeah, I definitely feel that pressure, but
Yeah. Um, I guess use that pressure as motivation to like try harder.
yeah,
I guess like I think the most nerve-wracking thing isn't like that you don't that you don't get it. Like let's say you have an interview and you do okay on it, or you think you did well. Um, I think you'll feel more nervous before you know the decision. You'll feel worse before you know the decision than after knowing that you got rejected. Like after you know you got, at least for me, after I got rejected, I just move on to the next thing. I think about like, oh, okay, what can I do from this point on? But then like before the rejection, I'm just like, oh, did I do this right? Oh, like, but that at that time, like I could have done that better. And then, yeah. So I think you're in a good spot. Just work hard, see where life takes you, and then just know in the back of your mind that like no matter what, at the end of it, you'll be fine. And I was telling you like earlier, like before we started recording, that um, just because you don't get a Google internship during school, and just because you don't get a Google full-time job, new grad position, like right out of school, doesn't mean that you won't get Google or you won't get one of these top companies afterwards. Because I literally know two friends that they got into like okay sized companies. Like one worked at Intuit and one worked at like um, WD, like the hard drive company. But then like both of them just like not even a year into their job, uh, or maybe like a little past a year. They interviewed with Google and they got it. So they're both starting. Like one started 6 weeks ago, one's probably starting in 6 weeks or in a few weeks. But yeah, like they might set the bar like really high for new grads maybe, but then like um if your goal is to get a big company or is to get Google, after you let's say you just find a mediocre or like okay job out of college, if you then spend the next year just preparing and learning during your job and also like working on a side project or grinding on lead code for another year, like when you reapply for Google in a year, you'll be like more than ready. And you'll find that after after college, you'll have a lot more time to do what you want to do. So if what you want to do is to work towards a job at Google, then you will have the time to do that without all these like bullshit classes or bullshit tests to prepare for. Yeah.
That's encouraging. So I definitely feel the BS classes and BS assignments, but
Yeah.
yeah, how's life after college? Like you make it sound like having so much fun now. Like you have to be having fun, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun. Just to finish the point though, like
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
graduating college isn't the end of the journey. It's only the beginning of the journey. So like, um, don't fret too much. Like, don't stress yourself out too much because life after college is like, wait, like, it's like pretty chill. Yeah. And, you can get into Google at any time, not just like right after college or during college.
Hmm.
And Google's not even
Yeah.
that good. I'm not at Google right now.
Jeez. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but
Okay.
okay, so you said like what life after college is like?
Yeah. Actually, um, yeah. Can we talk about that? Like, what kind of projects are you working on at your job at Lyft?
Okay. Wait, before that, the time management method we were talking about earlier with like
Yeah.
to-do lists is called getting things done or GTD.
Mm, I like
And
the acronym.
yeah, the GTD method rests on the idea of moving planned tasks and projects out of the mind by recording them externally and then breaking them into actionable work items. This allows one to focus attention on taking action on tasks instead of recalling them.
Oh,
Yeah.
useful.
So you can look into it if you want. Anyway,
All right.
life after college, what am I working on at Lyft? So I'm an iOS developer at Lyft. So I work on their iOS app. I work on the support experience team. So that, like every time the passenger or the driver taps on help, then we try to make that experience really good because like uh, sometimes it's really shitty when like you're trying to find help and it's like really stressful to find help. We recently like redid our whole driver help. Like before it would take you to like, it would link you to our webpage in like a web view and then the experience was just like super duper bad. But now everything is native and everything looks like really awesome. And,
Oh,
yeah.
nice. That's
So
cool.
yeah.
What's like what what are like some downsides of your job? I'm just curious. Like it's got to be like an awesome job, but
Yeah.
like what are some things that you would change?
Um, the thing is like, it doesn't take much for me to be satisfied, and I honestly can't say anything wrong with Lyft. Um, like, I love my team. I love my, like, my work. Working on iOS specifically in Lyft is really nice because, um, the code quality is like really high, and then we have like a lot of really, really, really smart iOS people. Like, the iOS knowledge at Lyft is just like enormous. or the brain power, I should say. Um, the pay is like really good. Location is like really close to my house. Um, I'm learning a lot. Company, like, it also feels good to work at Lyft. Like, Lyft has like a lot of good values as a company. And then all my friends work at Lyft, so it's like, when I have lunch with my friends. I don't say I have lunch with my coworkers. Um, yeah, so like, there really is nothing wrong. Um,
Wow.
only thing is like, our snacks. We have free lunch and dinner. Dinner could be earlier. Dinner starts at 7:30, so it's like kind of late. Um, our snacks. Sometimes we have good snacks, but sometimes we have like those really bougie, expensive, but healthy snacks. So like no one eats
Ooh.
them.
Oh.
Um, we used to have like those Harbros or something like the gummy bears, but now we have like a knockoff organic gummy bear that doesn't taste as good.
Probably healthier though, right?
Pretty sure it's still not healthy because it's like so
I know.
expensive. But
Dang. So
yeah,
just
like
the food.
over like after a certain level, like it's just this company has like better snacks, this company has better lunch, but like they're almost like all the same.
I
You're just
see.
like
Yeah, it sounds pretty
optimizing
well.
at that point.
Yeah. Dang. Honestly, it just sounds like it's such a cool job.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of companies are like that, not just Lyft. Like I can almost say the same for like almost all the companies that interned at. But
Mm.
Yelp didn't have free food.
Ooh,
Microsoft didn't have free food either. Microsoft also didn't have free snacks.
dang.
And Tinder had like the most unhealthy shit you can eat. Like we had Twix bars and Skittles and hot Cheetos. Like, yeah, Tinder.
That's interesting. I love how it comes down to the food at these companies.
Yeah, because I had really good teams at all my internships. I might have just gotten lucky, but yeah, um, yeah, just like all the other factors were all like pretty much the same, which is like really good.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna have to get going soon here, but this is a really great conversation. Yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to let me ask you a couple questions.
But yeah, no
Yeah.
worries. Thanks for bringing me all these good questions.
Oh yeah, for sure. Uh,
Yeah, maybe we'll do a part two or something about like.
yeah, everyone, if you're not subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button, give it a thumbs up. Uh, this is good stuff. Oh, all right.
All right, yeah,
Take
I
care.
hope that helped.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll talk to you later.
Uh,
Bye.